Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Why the gold to silver ratio could drop to 60. Let's explore. In a recent video, you heard me mention that I think that the silver to gold ratio should be at 60 or below, but it's really been dragging for quite a long time. As we know, silver is a more volatile metal than gold. In fact, silver really has performed much worse than gold over the last 5 years for sure. And that ratio has seemed to have widened. Why is that? Mainly because there's a pretty large silver supply, and gold is really seen as that ultimate safe haven. And it actually is part of the reason why my focus has shifted more towards gold as of late in recent years. But there is some potential for silver to catch up to gold, but I don't think it's going to get to where many people think it should be. In other words, there's some folks who think that silver should be below 30 to 1, especially considering the record highs that we've seen for gold, and silver should be at its all-time high now, since gold has been at its all-time high in terms of nominal dollars. But there is a gentleman who was interviewed on Kitco named Phil Streibel. He's a chief market strategist at Blue Line Futures. And he believes that we're going to see a disconnect from silver to gold. But the thing is that I believe there already is a disconnect, and that's why the ratio has been widening. But we are seeing platinum prices go up, and he believes that because of the nature of what platinum and copper is that we'll see silver start to move with those metals more so than gold. And I think there's a good argument to be made for that as a case. And I think that certainly is quite a possibility. Because so far, even though platinum prices have now moved above $1,000 an ounce, we haven't seen silver make any strong moves to the upsides, very close to the $30 mark, which is kind of what we had seen as a high before. Silver was trucking quite along, but in reality, when gold rises, silver tends to outperform gold, but not enough to really narrow that ratio, because when gold drops, silver drops even more and is hurt worse on the way down than it benefits on the way up. That is part of the frustration that many silver stackers have seen. And this particular prediction by this gentleman, Phil Streibel, is something that we have to really take that advice with caution. But I think there's some a good merit to his argument with regards to a quote that he says here. He says, I believe that all of a sudden silver is going to disconnect from gold and start to travel with platinum and copper and be what it truly is. That is a green energy metal. Now, we know that silver has one of the most versatile uses of all the metals out there, for sure. I mean, obviously, iron is used quite a lot and is very versatile in its use in industry. But silver, I believe, is more versatile in its use in terms of not only industry, but also in the biomedical field, technology, and obviously green energy is a huge component. It's a big factor that is going to come into play during a Biden administration. And I believe there's going to be a lot of payback that's going to be coming for progressives that have supported Biden throughout the campaign. And I believe that payback will come in the form of some measure of a new Green Deal, some mandates for government spending for solar panels and all kinds of green energy projects. But notwithstanding, that revolution really is underway anyway. The solar revolution has been strong, going strong since 2009, since it's become more viable for people to own solar. So this says the best case scenario for silver investors is for this disconnect to happen and the gold to silver ratio to break down to lower levels near historical averages. So keep that in mind. It's going to be something like this, revolutionary to bring it back to normal historic averages. That's still quite a shame that that's going to have to be what it is to get it down that low, but I believe it is the case. Silver is seen more and more as an industrial or as a commodity, and its use in various different aspects of that regard. And the more versatile it becomes, the more of a commodity it is viewed at in that case. So, as all too long, silver has been the victim of gold all these years, traveling with it and not seeing its characteristics and its true nature, he said. But really, that's a happenstance, that the fact that silver is very versatile. To me, that's a strong suit for silver. To me, that says that silver's versatility is as such that it can really benefit mankind more ways than just being a hedge and also as money. I do see silver as dormant money, as essentially it is a hibernating money, but it can also act as a commodity. It's seen more as a commodity by the marketplace, and there's enough of it out there that it to meet demand. But what will happen if that demand increases to the point, especially after more of it is used for green energy projects? Well, that demand will cause the price to go up. And I believe that is likely to happen in some form in 2021. We'll see here. Streibel thinks that gold will lag behind until much later in 2021. And that could be in terms of the price increase velocity, but that does not mean that gold will be lower than it has been in recent weeks. I think gold is going to continue to rise as well. He goes on to say that people really need to be able to get comfortable being able to sell the asset and buy the asset on corrections. And that is certainly a way to trade, I guess, or what have you, with silver. I've been of the mind to buy and hold, and to buy and utilize a dollar cost averaging scenario to help really cushion the losses that you would take for silver, but also to be able to do well in the long run. In other words, doing well is essentially breaking even in terms of preservation of wealth. As silver stackers, that is our ultimate goal. It's the gold and silver are to protect us from a deflating and depreciating dollar. The dollar is a depreciating asset. This silver is just an asset. That's really its best selling point. It is what it is. It's an asset. I also believe that it is a hibernating money, and I believe it is something that will preserve your wealth, not increase it. And that is the thing that many people make the mistake of saying how they can make money off silver. There are ways to make money off silver, but the most conservative aspect and realistic approach, I think, for it in the long run is to see it as a wealth preservation device rather than a money-making proposition. It's a metal. It is what it is and will continue to be what it will continue to be. All silver is the same, whether it be in bar form, whether it be in coin form, no matter what method it is, in the end, it is the same. And it acts the same, and it performs the same in those markets, whether it be rolled out in wire or coated on a piece of silverware or utilized in solar panels as a conduit. Silver is what it is. And I believe that 60-to-1 ratio that Phil Streibel is talking about here is something that could come to pass if we see a demand increase. And that means that its performance above gold will rocket up in some level or manner or form. But that will just be it playing catch up to the realities of where it had been in the past. And that's going to drive sentiment. And I believe it's going to take several factors for it to get there to drop to that 60%. or 60 to 1. And part of that is going to be the influx of new investors as well as speculators into the marketplace, into acquiring silver as a buy and hold, either in the ETF form or as physical bullion, like what you see before you here. So there you go, silver, and how it could possibly narrow that ratio to 60 to 1. It'd be very interesting and fascinating to see. I hope you found this video interesting and insightful. I'd be very curious to see what your thoughts are on this subject. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.